This podcast is presented by Castrol Edge Euro, the #1 brand recommended by technicians in Europe. Did you know that almost 50% of European vehicles in Canada come factory filled with Edge Euro? Offer better oil. Offer your customer Castrol Edge Euro. Questions? Contact your local auto parts distributor, or Wakefield Territory Sales Manager, or customer service at 1-800-268-5339.
Awesome.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. It's your host, Andrew Ross. Now, this topic of tariffs has been with us for a little while, as a result of maneuvers on the part of the U.S. administration going back, more than a year now. Now, some of those were overturned, new ones were introduced, and then just very, very, very recently, a new round of tariffs have been suggested. As I'm not an expert on such international trade issues, I thought, well, let's do what we always tell our clients to do and our shops to do is look for the experts, right? So with me today on the podcast is Ashley Kalyn, international trade consultant with the Peacock Tariff Consulting, with offices in Orillia, Ontario, and Washington D.C. and places around the world as a global business, right? So Ashley, thanks for joining me on the podcast.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Yeah. So you just before we started recording, you said, the tariff business used to be a really methodical, predictable business. Welcome to an exciting world of tariffs these days, I guess.
It's funny. I call anybody who works in tariffs right now the modern day pharmaceutical rep because it's such a hot career right now. It's a real growth industry, although super niche. It's very important. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm excited about what's been going on. I mean, is it great for Canadians or Americans? Not necessarily, but it's an interesting time in history.
Right. So, I mean, as we're speaking, just days ago, the latest round of tariffs has been proposed by the U.S. administration on a whole host of products, but with a really strong focus on addressing some what they consider to be inequities in dairy and most importantly to us in automotive. Even though the products themselves that have been listed aren't necessarily automotive, it's clearly that's their focus, right?
Yeah, so on Monday, he imposed a tariff from Section 338 of the 1930 Smoot-Hawley Act. It has not been used yet in this trade war. It is brand new, but he did it the right way. So there's actual legal basis here. In the past, he's enacted and tariff. He's imposed tariffs not legally, I would say. And that's why the Supreme Court could turn around and turn them over. And that's why we're seeing a lot of companies now are getting refunded from that. But this was done legally. Apparently, we were discriminatory against American products. So, for example, we didn't want to have American alcohol on the shelves anymore. And that is his basis in all of it. He's turned around and he's put a 50% tariff on, I think, upwards of $20 billion worth of Canadian goods. And it's been a very busy few days for us. Let's put it that way. As a Canadian-based tariff consulting firm, the phone has been ringing nonstop. Great for business, not great for Canadian business owners. The tariffs hit milk and cream, hockey equipment, alcohol, cement, electrical equipment, and machinery. As you know, the automotive aftermarket is already the most exposed segment, with Section 232 hitting aluminum and steel. And it's just been tough all around.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are certainly a different basis from what we've seen. As you suggest, they've really dug into the memory banks here for this legal platform to support this move. You're suggesting that this one is a more firm basis, on which to launch these tariffs than some of the ones that were actually overturned, right? And found to
Yeah,
be
so
not
it does have a legal basis, and that's why we're taking it a bit more seriously. Because in the past, Trump has stomped his feet and has made decisions rashly without much consideration, and he hasn't listened to his aides or any of the legal items. He's just gone ahead and done things, and that's why they've been overturned. This, however, is a very real tariff. And I don't think it's going anywhere. We have 30 days to discuss, and Carney's not taking it lying down, but who knows? Who knows? They are intensifying the trade discussions in response to these tariffs, but it might have teeth. And I think that's why he did it in the first place, was to see if it would stand. Because if this works against Canadians, he can turn around and impose this against European countries as well.
Right, right, right. So we're sort of the guinea pigs in this one, that sounds like then.
Which is unfortunate considering, the relationship that we've had historically.
Right.
It's very disappointing, and it's a big sign of an economic downturn. It's a big sign of economic depression. Again, the last time this was put into place, it was 1930. It wasn't blamed for the Great Depression necessarily, but it was a huge part of it, and it worsened how things were going in the 1930s. It seems to be a bit of a trend. It seems to be a trend. The 1830s, the 1930s, and now the 2030s, what we're going into. Him doing this is really just writing on the wall of where the American economy is and where it's going.
Right, right, right. Because we won't hear them very much. People in the administration admit that there's any difficulties whatsoever in any of the economies, right? It's just
Well, of
all
course not, right? But it's,
sunshine and roses. So
yeah, well, just like we read tea leaves, right? And just his actions here, it was concerning.
right,
It was concerning. It was like, okay, there's much more to it than what meets the eye. This is a sign of huge economic depression and things to come.
right, right, right. For the kind of more near term, for aftermarket organizations, both in light of the new tariff introductions and the current landscape, what do they need to be watching for, and how do they navigate this to mitigate, I guess, the impact as much as they can.
So, in my opinion, okay, every time a tariff is imposed, it hurts. Margins decrease, companies absorb it. They try to lessen the pain on their clients by absorbing the tariff, and then over time prices increase. That's just historically, that's what happens. So it's going to be painful for a little bit, automotive especially, as it has been, as automotive companies have been used to. It's going to be painful for a little bit, but the number one most important thing moving forward is compliance. So my company is made up of compliance professionals with decades of experience. And like we discussed previously, trade has been very methodical up until this point. So compliance was simple and straightforward, not so much anymore. With this change, the Customs Border Patrol, they're going to be flagging things much quicker. We've seen it with 232 with aluminum and steel. If you are not compliant, if you are misclassifying, or if you're not 100% above board, it's not just a slap on the wrist anymore. It's very serious. So, yeah, absolutely. Confirm your compliance status on every SKU now. It's the single biggest lever on exposure. Rules have shifted twice in a year. It's stay on top of it. Like, use duty drawback, bonded warehouse strategies where possible, diversify your supplier and distribution redundancy across the border rather than relying on one directional flow. Have a contingency pricing and sourcing plan ready before August 19th when this goes into motion, not afterwards.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's my advice. That's my advice to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awful lot of the trade in the aftermarket is cross-border. The distribution organizations straddle the Canada-US border and beyond. They're big organizations. They're moving parts around a lot, and you can. I don't know. I don't want to be the person, the logistics professional responsible for getting something hung up because it wasn't classified properly or in a timely fashion, or some piece of
Yeah,
paperwork didn't get filled out quite correctly, and something gets hung up for who knows.
they're sitting in the hot seat right now. There's no question. That's why the phone's ringing off the hook.
Right, 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 right. Well, what's the outlook? I mean, I mean, is it just going to be more of this till we don't know when, or is there any kind of suggestion that there might be a return to, I don't know, the old new normal, or where there's the relationships are predictable, or is just this, the new chaos where the new normal. So,
Honestly, what I tell people when I'm talking to companies and I'm pitching them about Peacock and our services, I tell them like this is how it is now, and it's true. Even if Trump, is gone, is out of the picture, what has been set in motion is in motion. So these times may be unprecedented, but this is just how it is. I've gotten into it a few times with veterans who are, been business owners for 30, 40, 50 years. And, oh, tariffs can't stick, tariffs can't stay. It's like, well, yeah, they can. Yeah, they can and they have. I mean, tariffs are an original tactic for international trade. It's not like it's a new thing. They're just being imposed more and more often now. Uh, Money is being made in places that the country hasn't seen before, the US country hasn't seen before. And I think new leadership will recognize that, and they'll see that the money's coming in, and the powers that be will not want to be left hung out to dry. They see that the money is coming in from these things, and they won't want to give up on it.
yeah. So again, so the outlook for professionals, I guess, is to just deal with the reality that we have, or live in the world that of reality, and not wish for a world that we don't have, right? And we're
It,
hearing
it,
that
it
a lot
is
lately. So
it is what it is. It is what it is. And I mean, I think the business owners are feeling it the most. It's awful, especially like as a Canadian. Like I know I've talked to people and they're just distraught. I mean, this is the difference between the lights staying on, right? For many small and medium sized enterprises. So it's a lot. It is. But again, it's not set in stone yet, right? We have until August 19th for anything to be changed, or more things to come to light. We are working vigorously. Just another note that is interesting, in 2018 and 2019, Canada matched US tariffs dollar for dollar and held them for 14 months until both sides stood down together. So, I mean, just informed speculation. Carney did say he didn't want that to happen again, but we're not taking it lying down.
right, right. It just seems like, in talking to some, the distribution professionals at the, if the first rounds came in, some time ago, about a year ago now, and the amount of resources they were finding they had to spend getting basically a lot of their best people in their, finance departments, spending now a lot of time and resources to do exactly what you said, is to figure out where things were and what they were, being compliant, and also making sure that they were, accounting for these additional costs. And it's just a huge drag on business, even just that part of it.
Oh, huge, huge. But that's where we come in. So again, we're super niche, right? The need for us popped up overnight, but it's important. I mean, business owners have enough on their plate, right? You have to run your business. You have so much to worry about. And the reality is not many companies can afford to have an entire floor of compliance professionals.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's why having the knowledge and the expertise on your side, like we are purposely not customs brokers because we want to be able to advise you on your best possible route. And that's where we step in.
Right. Right. Well, super. I mean, I never imagined, some years ago that I would even be thinking about tariffs, because, as you said, it
I
was this
know.
totally
Oh, me
stable
neither.
area. Yeah, it was
Me
a totally
neither.
stable area. Nothing
Yeah.
didn't. It was boring as heck. Nothing changed. It was, this percentage coming in offshore, and almost nothing except for a few exceptions coming across the Canada-U.S. border for as long as I can remember. New age, new days, new realities, right? And maybe the need for some new professionals to
Yeah,
help out, right? So,
absolutely.
Ashley, it's great. Thank you so much. We'll put some contact information in the show notes on this. But for those who are listening, get your compliance right. If yes, seek professional help if you don't have it in house, but by all means, do not ignore it. It will not go away. It will get you into trouble. So, all right. Thanks very much, Ashley. Thanks everyone for
Thank
listening.
you. Thank
And
you.
hang on, everybody. It's going to be another wild ride, I guess. So, right. Take care.
Thanks.
You're listening to the Great Canadian Aftermarket Podcast, brought to you by the publishers of Indie Garage and Jobber Nation. Connect with us online at indiegarage.ca and jobbernation.ca, a brand of Chat Integrated Media.